Ayman Khan here for Seconds Out, joined by the great mind for boxing, James Ali Bashir. James, good to see you. How you doing?
Excellent. Everything is good.
Everything's good indeed. Let's get to two quality fighters in the form of Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury. The rematch is fast upon us. James, having seen some of the build-up, having seen some of the conversation, what do you think Fury tries to change to get the victory over Usyk the second time around?
Well, they said that he's bulking up. He's putting on weight. So I guess he has the mindset that he's going to bully Oleksandr Usyk. He's going to try to put enough pressure on him to back him up, uh, to outweigh him, just lay on him, weigh him out by laying on him. But in my mind, it's not going to work. I see Oleksandr Usyk doing the same thing he did in the first fight, but I see him doing it much better. He'll be aware of the Tyson Fury tricks this time. He was getting hit with good body punches and good uppercuts in the last fight, and I think that Oleksandr Usyk has gone back to the lab, and he'll correct that in this fight, and he'll win the fight via unanimous decision. But a knockout is not out of the question, because now that the people understand what I've been saying all along, I've been saying it for years, that Oleksandr Usyk is a surprisingly hard and accurate puncher. And when you punch as accurately and as sharp as Oleksandr Usyk punches, you don't have to be a hard puncher. Accuracy is what takes the fight out. That's what today's boxing minds don't realize. They're laying around in the background, and they pick up tidbits here, tidbits here about boxing. But I know for a fact in boxing, if you're a sharp puncher, you don't have to be a really hard puncher. Sharpness will get you to the point of KO.
In terms of the fight, we're hearing a unconfirmed rumor at the moment as to the presence of John Fury, Tyson Fury's dad, in the corner, and the potential that he might not be in the corner the second time round. Do you think that's the right move to remove John Fury from the corner, as what was apparent chaos the first time round in the corner for the first fight?
Well, I don't see what is his worth in the corner. What is it? I mean, Tyson Fury doesn't need a cheerleader, and that's, in my opinion, that's what John Fury is. That's what he's been, a cheerleader. What is he doing in the corner?
I think he's just passing on advice, like alongside Andy Lee and Sugar Hill.
He's passing on advice.
Yep.
Well, what does he need Sugar Hill for? If he's passing on advice, what does Tyson Fury need Sugar Hill for? What does he need Andy Lee for? No, Tyson Fury has his own mind. And here's a case with the additive of too many cooks spoil the soup. I don't think that he's going to need a lot of voice in the corner. He's just going to need some sound advice on how to beat this guy, because this guy is an articulate individual. He's above boxing. The guy is just a unique fighter. And I've been telling the pundits, the trainers, and the who's who of boxing for many years, for at least 7 to 8 years, that Oleksandr Usyk is a unique fighter, and he's not going to be easily beaten.
Tyson suggests that in the first fight, that round 9, where he was in all sorts of trouble, a real crisis moment for him, that was the time for Usyk to try and nail him to the canvas, and he couldn't do it, and he's missed the opportunity, and he won't.
The referee said that he stopped the action because Tyson fell against the ropes, and he ruled it a knockdown.
Hmm.
But prior to that, him falling against the ropes, prior to that, twice before that there, he fell to the ropes, and he could have jumped in and said it was a knockdown.
Hmm.
If you look back at the fight, you'll see him go against those ropes at least twice before the referee ruled it a knockdown. So in my mind, the referee came in and saved Tyson from being knocked out. Tyson is hanging his hat on the fact that Usyk couldn't take him out. I think Usyk could have took him out had it not been for the referee. Had it not been if it had not been for the referee interjecting at that moment, he was going to be knocked out. And if you study the actions thereafter, after the referee stepped in, if you study the immediate reactions thereafter, Tyson Fury still looked like he did not want to be there. So yeah, I thought, and then the round ended. So I thought Oleksandr Usyk was robbed of a knockout in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point of view. I've been watching boxing for many years, and in my point of view, he was done.
Tyson's made a lot about coming into this fight and being heavier in this fight. Does it lend to the thinking that Tyson is going to go all out for that knockout finish? And how will that fare later on in the fight?
He can be as heavy as he wants to be. You need something to punch on to make that heaviness count.
Hmm.
Again, Oleksandr Usyk is not no run-of-the-mill fighter. He's a boxing master. He's an expert. And I don't know what the guy has to do to get respect from the powers that be, from the pundits, from other boxers. I don't know what he has to do to prove that he belongs. He's not, he can be as heavy as he wants. But Usyk is too smart for Tyson just to lay on him and maul him and brock him. He's too smart for that. You know, he knows what Tyson is going to try to do. He's aware of that. And he'll make the adjustments. He'll win the fight.
Can I ask you about the motivations of Oleksandr Usyk? This guy has now been to the top of the mountain at the cruiserweight division and at the heavyweight division. You would think that having achieved everything in the sport, maybe the motivation might burn a little less brighter because you've done everything now. Is that true in any sense, knowing the man
Oh,
as close as you did?
Oleksandr Usyk is aware of who he is and what he represents, not only to the Ukrainian people, but he's aware of his status in the world of boxing. You know, he's very aware of that. He knows what his position is. He knows what he has to do. You know, this aside from money and fame and all that stuff, Oleksandr Usyk wants to be where he's at. He's a master practitioner, and he's not going to be easily beaten. I don't think that Tyson Fury beats him. And Tyson Fury better be careful that he doesn't get knocked out in this fight.
Derek Chisora mentioned that he was concerned that the sparring partners Fury had in the build-up for this rematch might not be giving Tyson the appropriate work because they might be in awe of him and didn't want to. They couldn't give him that work because they respected him too much. In your time in boxing and your time in various training camps across the years you've had in boxing, has that ever been the case where sparring partners didn't deliver for the fighter?
Listen, I trained Lennox Lewis. I trained Vladimir Klitschko. Every single time that Emmanuel Stewart wasn't in that camp, he left those guys to me. And I trained both of them over the years. And every time I was in the camp with Lennox Lewis and Vladimir Klitschko, those guys always hired the best sparring partners that money could buy. They didn't shy away from tough sparring. All right? They never shied away from tough sparring. In my recollection, I can go back and observe the fighters that came in those camps to work with those guys. And they always brought the best top-notch fighters, guys that was ranked in the top 10. And those guys were always in those camps, sparring with them. So they were always prepared for tough fights because they didn't bring in people that came in there to kiss their asses. They brought guys that was coming in there trying to make a name for themselves, trying to put them down, trying to bust them up, you know? And I just don't see it. No, I don't see it.
What's the potential that this could be the final fight for either fighter?
You know, just to get to where they are in boxing is spectacular. So at any given time, especially earning the monies that they've earned and the money that they will earn in this particular fight, it could be over any time. Desire at this point, not money, desire is what keeps both guys there. They have money. They have all the money that they'll need for the rest of their lives. You know, they have money, so it could be over any time. But from my understanding, Oleksandr Usyk is looking to go back down to the bridgeweight division or to the cruiserweight division after this fight. He says, I don't want to be a heavyweight no more because I've got to eat too much to be here. And I don't like to eat like that. So I want to go back to bridgeweight or go back to cruiserweight, you know. I'm thinking that he would go back to bridgeweight. I think that's 225. And he can end his career there by winning another title, you know?
Yeah, that has been the signal from Oleksandr Usyk. He said that today that he would look to go back down to cruiserweight.
Yeah, you know, he doesn't want to eat like that, you know? He has to bulk up. He has to bulk up, you know, and he said he's just not used to eating like that. He's a spectacular fighter. You know, you can't take that away from him. You know, he's just a spectacular fighter.
I know that you speak to Vladimir Klitschko regularly. Have you heard this conversation that Klitschko might have been a challenger to Daniel Dubois, and that after this fight with Usyk, Fury might in the future rematch Vladimir Klitschko?
I spoke to Vladimir Klitschko yesterday morning, and you know, he's straddling the fence. He said, "Let me just see what's going to happen between Usyk versus Fury." But I will say that Vladimir Klitschko, with my conversation, and Vladimir Klitschko and I, we're pretty close. We've been pretty close over these years. We formed a really good alliance between the two of us. I can tell he's itching. He wants to do it. He wants to do it. I don't know whether he will do it. He just likes to box. He's a boxer. And it's in his spirit to do it. And he's still walking around at 240, the same weight that he was when he was a fighter. 240, 242. He's in pounds. So he's still in his mind, he's still a young guy. And my belief is that a lot of the young guys don't possess the mindset of a Vladimir Klitschko. The mindset itself can win him the heavyweight championship. He could possibly wind up being the oldest heavyweight champion ever. I think that he can come back and win the championship. I do think that he can win it. I don't think nothing can stop him from coming because, like I said, he'll outthink a lot of those guys that's out there.
Okay, the other fight I want to get your thoughts on is now being announced, and that's Daniel Dubois versus Joe Parker. What's your breakdown of that fight?
It's a really good fight. It's a really good fight between two top competitors. You know, it's not a shoe-in for either guy. It's just a good old-fashioned fight. Joseph Parker coming off the last two wins, he's full of fire and full of focus, and Daniel Dubois, he's had a resurgence, you know. So this is a really good fight. I'm looking forward to the fight.
Did Anthony Joshua make the right decision to not rematch Daniel Dubois?
Yes, I think he did. I think that it was the right thing to do. I just didn't see Anthony being mentally ready for that fight. I thought it was a rush to failure. You know, fight Daniel Dubois for what? It wasn't a close fight. Daniel Dubois trounced Anthony Joshua. You know, I think that he needs to go back to the drawing board and collect himself and reapply himself. I think going right back to Daniel Dubois was a very bad mistake. And obviously, Anthony Joshua thought the same thing. So he stayed out of the fight, which was a wise thing to do. I think that was a bumble job, a really bumble job in that fight. You know, in industry, you know, and I've said before, in industry, the presidency of the United States, auto industry, telephone industry, the CEO at the top takes all the flack when there's failure in the system. This guy, Ben Davidson, he's got to be able to take the flack. He was the CEO in the corner. He told him to do something that was obviously wrong. A novice teacher, well, there's not a lot of teachers in boxing that I see now. You know, I've been doing this for 57 years, and I observed every fight from the 4-rounders all the way to the 12-rounders. And I hear some of the most ridiculous things in those corners. Ridiculous, bumbling jobs. This guy's it's for the heavyweight championship of the world. He tells Joshua to throw an uppercut from a football field away. And right now, when I look back at the fight, I'm saying, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? You're in the 5th, 6th round of a fight. You said, we've got to roll the dice? No, we don't have to roll the dice. We have to box and find our way back. If we have some rough patches, okay. We got 5, 6 rounds to collect ourselves. No, we got to go back and we got to box our way back into the fight. Not roll the dice, not in the 5th, 6th round. So he bumbled and bumbled. Tell him to throw the uppercut and then tell him he's got to roll the dice. So he was the CEO in the corner. How could you not take the flack for it? You know, if you was working for Ford or General Motors or the phone companies here, you know, the big phone companies of the world, AT&T, you know, T-Mobile, one of them, you've got to take the flack and because you're at the top of the scope. They're going to come and say, hey, man, we got to remove you. We got to get somebody that's qualified. Jeez, I mean, when I look back at that information, is we got to roll the dice in the 5th round. No. You get your skates on and you move and you stick, and you reevaluate, you collect yourself. You don't roll the dice in the 5th round of the fight. You don't throw an uppercut. What is Daniel Dubois, 6'6"? You know, you don't throw an uppercut from a football field where you try to throw it and you got hit. It was common knowledge. I think Shane said something prior to the throwing, but he said, this seems to me if he throws that punch, he's going to get hit with the right hand, and boom. 10 seconds later, it's exactly, you know, but the wise minds saw that. It was similar to what Buster Douglas did with Evander Holyfield. The same thing. You throw an uppercut from a football field away, you're gonna get counted. So and then they heaping praise on this guy. He's a young kid, all right? He's a young kid and he's gonna make more mistakes because they put too much responsibility on a young kid. You know, I've been there and done that. I've seen that before, you know? I've seen that before. You're such a hurry to live up to the praise that people was heaping on him. But he's just another young kid, and he's going to make more mistakes because they put too much of a burden on him. Why? He came in and said, "Oh, he can do this here." Ben Davison is the wonder kid. He's going to make it happen. Really, really. No, I think Anthony Joshua reevaluated his position and said, I'm not ready for this here. I'm not ready for this here. Because Daniel Dubois, at this point in his career, is feeling his Cheerios. All right? He's feeling his Cheerios. That's why this fight with him and Joe Parker is going to be a really, really good fight. I'm anticipating that fight.
Does Joe Parker have the temperament to, when the goings get tough, to not roll that dice?
I think that Joe Parker and Andy Lee is making good music together. You just got to have a good dance partner. If you got a good dance partner, you can make, like they said about the fable about Superman, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. So I think that Andy Lee and Joe Parker is making good music together. They're good dance partners. So let's see what happens. I think that it's a good fight. Joe Parker versus Daniel Dubois. I think it's a really, really good fight. Really exciting fight for the heavyweight division. A great injection for boxing. I think that this is and Daniel Dubois, likewise with Don Charles. I think they're able to make good music together. I think they're able to make good music together. And when you have that harmony between a trainer and a boxer, there's no limit to what they can achieve together. So I'm really excited about this, but the fight myself. Very, very excited about it.
James, that's all the questions I have for you. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Let's speak as well after the fight too, and get your thoughts on the undisputed rematch between Usyk and Fury.
It's not undisputed.
Undisputed rematch for the unified title. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, for the unified title, they squeezed it out of there. Daniel Dubois camp now, and I think that he's going to live up to that expectation. I think Daniel Dubois is going to do good. I think he's going to climb the ladder. This fight with Joseph Parker is telling me that Daniel Dubois is in the saddle and he's not turning down his collar for nobody. He's going to fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good fight, though. I really anticipate chemistry. The chemistry is right for this fight. So and when do they fight? That February 22nd or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good fight. A really good fight with two guys that want to be there. Both of them are hungry. Both of them know their position. They know what's happening. They know that I've got to win the fight. Both guys are thinking, I got to win this fight. And that's what makes the fight even more exciting because they both understand that I've got to win this fight. And I like that. I like that chemistry. It brings back the excitement of the heavyweight division. It kind of puts me in the mind of Michael Dokes versus Mike Weaver. The first fight, I thought it was prematurely stopped, the Weaver-Dokes fight. But the second fight was a better fight, And I think they gave Dokes the fight. I think Weaver won that fight. But I think they gave the Dokes. The powers that be gave the Dokes. Mm. So this kind of puts me into two guys that's at the same level. I put Joseph Parker on the same level with Daniel Dubois. Let's see who breaks out to go a step above, This is a really good fight, and I'm anticipating seeing it.
James, anticipating our next conversation as well too. Hopefully we'll have that soon after Usyk versus Fury. Thank you so much for speaking to Seconds Out, sir.
What is it? This Saturday, right?
This Saturday.
Oh my God! This is really exciting. This is really, really exciting. I just think that if Tyson Fury wasn't 6'9", we wouldn't be having this conversation. Yeah, he can box, he can move, But I think because of his size is what puts him in this conversation. If he was 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", he'd just be an ordinary fighter. Right? He'd just be an ordinary fighter. I think his size and his reach is what puts him in any conversation. I don't see what other people say. Oh, he could do this, he could do that. Yeah, when you're 6'9", with 90 inches of reach at you, you can do the boogaloo all you want to. Because by the time somebody get to you, you'll be halfway across town. But if you were 6'2", 6'3", come on, man, come on, give me a break with that stuff, man.
James, pleasure.
Yes, sir.